Hi, I wanted to talk to you about hope today and a distinct lack of it sometimes in our lives and even in the world at the moment. And so, what does hope bring for us? Well, for me, it's that freedom of choice. It's that space of expansive possibility of something that could be that I haven't quite thought about. And it's that lighter feeling of being able to choose yourself. And at the moment, that's not really happening, is it, with the pandemic? We are being told to follow rules, and I understand that we have to wear masks, etc. But it's kind of because it's been that constant erosion of our freedom, that tiny drip drip, and the focus is constantly on negativity over here, then we have to move the needle and begin to focus in a new direction. And we can do that really easily. And that's by living in the now. So, what do I mean by living in the now? Well, I know sometimes when I get into a stuck place, and I've been in quite a few recently, and I always laugh at myself when I realise that I'm there. But it usually happens when I focus intensely on one small thing. So, for example, if somebody does something that you disagree with, you might begin to focus really, really heavily on that one thing. And you might bring to collude with it some past memory of a disagreement with that same person. Or you might get other people to collude with your opinion of that person. And kind of the negativity starts to build up, doesn't it? Until we start to live there. Well, that's the stuck place. That's the place of overwhelm. And how do you get out of there? I think I always recognize it because it feels a little bit out of kilter for me. It feels a little bit off key. It feels heavier than my usual way of being, and it feels a little bit irritable. I notice the washing up left around more. I notice the room's untidy. I notice that I've got a longer to-do list than normal. And it's because my thinking has intensified around negative things happening in my life. And that's not my reality. My reality is this neutral space of no thing. And so when I'm in that space of overwhelm before it gets to that very stressful space, then I will just take 5. And if I've got 5 minutes, I'll take 5 minutes. And if not, I'll take 5 seconds. And I'll just allow that thinking to settle down. I'm not doing anything. Could even be looking at a person talking to me. Could even be looking through the window. But I'm not taking any more negativity in, and I'm not focusing on the negativity either. I'm just being in the moment. And I always know when those thoughts have settled, and I usually make a cup of tea first, or I go for a little walk somewhere if I can, if I'm not working. And when that emptiness and lightness returns to me, I see things so clearly. It's almost as if, I've got a patch of double glazing that's kind of blown, and it's all misty on the inside. And I look out onto the garden, and the garden looks distorted, whereas the other pane next to it, the clarity pane, the clear see-through pane, allows me to see the beauty of life in the moment. And I might miss things looking through the blown, distorted, steamy pane. If I see things through that negativity in my life, then I don't really see what's happening in the now. I miss the simplicity of the now. And I began to build up more and more, or I begin to build up more and more negativity. And that just makes me feel worse. So living in the now is kind of like the lighter space. It's a space where you don't hold on to your thinking. Because even if you hold on to a lovely thought, eventually it'll fade and it'll get stored in the memory. And you can bring it back, but it's not reality. It's just an old thought that's stored in the brain. Sometimes we forget that when that old thought's painful and we suffered a bit and shoved it in the brain out of sight. It could be a difficult conversation we have at work. Somebody says something to us out of the blue. We can feel the energy of them having a go at us, can't we? And maybe we don't defend ourselves in the moment. Maybe we retreat to know what to do that's best. And if we do, then the best thing will come to us when we're in a settled mind, not when we're stuck in that negative space. I hardly watch the news at the moment. I'm so tired of hearing about schools, what we're not doing, what we could be doing. It's just never ending for some reason. And the whole government spin on PR is just not true. True reality is in this moment, in the now. That's where you'll find hope going forward. I hope you settle down. Take 5 throughout the day, 5 seconds, 5 breaths, 5 nothings, and check in on yourself. Are you in that neutral, okay space? Nothing really going on. Maybe just sitting with a child or a friend and just being. Be in the now. That's where the hope is. Seeing beyond those horrible negative thoughts, seeing that space beyond those built up negative thoughts. That's the space of being in the now. That's where you'll get your clarity. You'll know what to do. And things will always be okay. Take care. You matter.